Okay, so what I did here was get 1 cup, 16 ounces of sterilized water, purified, and put it in a small pot with, I want to say 6 to 8 ounces of oak wood chips. And um, these are the same wood chips. They are food grade wood chips, not just, something from outside laying in your backyard, but food grade ones, the same ones that are used for making wine, taste more oaky. It gives it a lot of flavor. Definitely has a good smell to it. You want to put the wood chips in, bring it to a boil, and then let it boil for 10 minutes. And it's 10 minutes right now. Two reasons for boiling the chips. One, to sanitize them, and two, to get them full of water. They can absorb water better at a higher degree, so they absorb the water better, so when you put them into your plastic carboy, they'll sink to the bottom instead of floating at the top and the bottom, and you having to go through the trouble having to filter the beer out. Um, so, yep, that smells good. You want to also drain it. I know it's a nice dark red color. If you are looking for a darker beer, you can definitely just dump this all in. A lot of it evaporated, so there's not that much water left, but you can definitely use it for coloring. And but I won't need it for that purpose. And then so take a look, just normal, nice hot steaming wood chips. Like I said, I'm not sure on the measure. I just dumped a bunch in. It's probably 6 to 8 ounces of it. So with that being done, I did put about 2 gallons of sanitizer in the carboy, shook it up. Now I'm going to sanitize the hose. This is the same hose I use for bottling the beer. 10 feet of it. It's either 3/8 or ½ inch. Believe it, yeah, it's ½ inch. So 10 feet of ½ inch tubing for $2 at Menards. I think the beer place, it charges like $1 a foot or something. So I get a nice long distance with it. Plus I was able to, I don't know, chop off another 18 inches of this, or 24, which I use when the yeast starts bubbling too much and gets out of control. A normal airlock, it'll get all yellow and orange and it'll start bubbling over. If that happens, I just take the top off of this, the airlock, and remove the inner piece of plastic, and then I get the hose, and I don't remove this from the fermenting bucket, but I just slip the hose on top of the tube in there, and then I run this along the bottom, and I just put it in a jar full of water, just a canning jar. And I usually put sanitizer in there, just not plain water, and not for the fact that it's going to backwash into the bucket, but with sanitizer in the water, it breaks apart the bubbles. If you just put plain water in there, it'll get dirty in like 6 to 8 hours, and then it'll start foaming out of the jar. So you got to keep changing the water in the jar. And if you put sanitizer in there, you don't have to change it at all. Mine finished fermenting noticeably, and I was still able to not have to change it at all. So I got a shelf in here where I can put the bucket up on top there, and you can see the sanitizer. This makes it a lot easier to bottle for sure. And just going to drain it back into the bottling bucket, having it flush the insides of the tubes out. I just bottled some beer 3 days ago. So I want to make sure the beer's out. You want to make sure you sanitize your equipment right after you bottle and right before you bottle. I do it both. So it should be good. That should be good enough. Then just pop that off the top. And I'll stick it in the bucket. Dump the rest out. And then we'll want to transfer the wood chips to this. First, put them on the bottom. Just gonna drop them in by hand. Sometimes it's better to use a secondary bucket than a carboy. But I know a lot of people want to use a carboy and they, choose not to because it might be too expensive. So this is a cheap alternative to making it a lot cheaper in price. Would use a funnel, but some of these chips are so big. I suppose I can get a bigger funnel, but the purpose of these videos is showing you the cheapest way to make high quality beer without having to buy the obnoxious $150, $200 kits. So here's the wood chips. Smell all right. I'm just going to put this in my sink, make sure your valve is closed, and I'm going to grab my bucket. Now the buckets I use, instead of paying $20 for a fermenter, I just got buckets from Menards. I checked the plastic that these are made out of. It is food grade plastic, and this thing was $2. The lid for it was $1, so $3 for a bucket instead of $20. Can't beat that. Again, on everything I have, I put the thermometer tape on there, and then I got a empty gallon of milk and filled it up with water, and I used that to mark my gallon markers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's enough room on the top. It's like a 5.5 gallon bucket. That's perfectly fine for beer. If you want to make wine, you need to have like 6 gallons of clearance. I usually just mix it all together and then put 5 gallons in this, and then I got a gallon jar that I'll put the remaining amount on there. There's no need to go out and pay another $20, $25 for a special 6 gallon bucket. It's not necessary. So now I'm going to transfer it